Alright, hi everyone, this is section 3.2, day 2 on asymptotes from KC5 integrated 3. Okay, so an asymptote, now I briefly talked about this in the previous lesson. An asymptote is a line that a curve approaches but never touches. Okay, so think about it as a boundary line or boundary lines after transformations. Okay, now we did a whole bunch of transformations in the previous lessons where we were moving our graph to our starting point and those boundary lines left and right, up or down. Okay, so there are three types of asymptotes. There's a horizontal asymptote, which again, like what it sounds like, it is a horizontal line that becomes your boundary line. A vertical asymptote is a vertical line that becomes your boundary line. And then your oblique asymptote is a kind of like a diagonal line. Okay, now when you have a horizontal asymptote, that boundary line, that equation to that line would be y equal to whatever number it crosses on your y-axis. Now, the vertical asymptote is very similar. Since it crosses the x-axis, that equation would be x equal to whatever number that crosses on your x-axis. And then, of course, your oblique asymptote, that one's a little different. It is a diagonal line, which would actually be y equals mx plus b. Okay, now we aren't going to use oblique asymptotes in this unit. We are going to focus on only horizontal and vertical asymptotes. Okay, so our examples. We're going to identify the vertical and horizontal asymptote of the graphs given. Okay, so for number 1, I gave you a graph, and you see that these red lines will not cross my x and y axis. So although I don't see any dotted lines, they aren't crossing those axes. So I can say that my vertical asymptote crosses, my vertical line is at 0. So that would be at x equal to 0. And similarly, the horizontal asymptote is my y-axis, so that would be y equal to 0. And that's it. This is your final answer. Okay, those are the equations for your vertical and horizontal asymptote. Now, number 2 is a little different, okay, because it's not just the axis. Okay, so I drew a graph. You can pause this video and draw the graph and then continue the video if you like. Okay, so if you see I have a dotted line, my vertical asymptote, crossing here at -2. So my vertical asymptote would be x equal to -2, since it crosses the x-axis at that point. And then my horizontal asymptote will cross right here, which is at +2. So I have y equal to +2, since it crosses the y-axis. And I'm done. Now, some graphs might have more than, some graphs might have more than 2 asymptotes. Some might only have 1, 2, and so forth. Okay, so I did give you a graph that's a little more complicated. So pause the video, draw the graph, and then go ahead and find the vertical and horizontal asymptotes. Okay, so I'm going to start on the left side. On my vertical asymptote, I see this vertical boundary line that crosses at -3. So one of them will be x equal to -3 since it crosses the x-axis. Now I do have another vertical asymptote on the right side, which crosses at +2. So I have x is equal to 2 as well. And then you see that you only have one horizontal line here that crosses at 1. So y is equal to 1 since it crosses your y-axis. And that's it.